Writer Paddy Gormley and director Maurice Thorogood, that's me, are discussing the development of Paddy's script for 2020 Visions. Paddy, let me ask you, when you and I were working to develop the script for a rehearsed reading by Actors and Writers London in 2016, I think I'm right in saying, I asked you to rewrite occasional lines of verse in the 1960, 1980 and 2000 visions that are the core of the play.
I knew immediately that this would be no simple matter. The verse writing is very intricate, with a complex system of rules that is unique to this play, 2020 Visions.
Explain.
When you asked me for specific changes, I knew I couldn't hope to remember the rules just by looking at a few lines of text. I would have to revise more broadly and deeply. So I dug out my archive of manuscript scribblings. I'm a compulsive keeper of manuscript scribblings, and saw that I had not documented the system of rules. So, if I were to change lines or cut or add, I was in constant danger of ripping the fabric of the piece, not in such a way that the audience would notice, but the integrity of the writing would be compromised, even so, and I would know that, and I couldn't bear that.
So, please tell us, what did you do?
Something I should have done in the first place, actually, years and years ago. I went through the script line by line, marking up the number of feet in each line and matching up the rhymes.
The rhymes are not always obvious.
That's certainly true, and it was intentional. My aim was to write present dialogue that flowed as naturally as prose, but was in fact verse, based on a methodical system of metre and rhyme.
Oh, love, it's just not right.
Perhaps I should work in Natasha's room.
Oh, I didn't mean your work. You mustn't go. I've never been so content with anyone.
Nor I. You're just amazing.
As if you'd been sent here specially.
So you don't have many conventional rhymes in 2020 Vision. As often as not, I would rhyme single syllables in the middle of words. So you might rhyme spin with Lynn of Belinda and fin of affinity. I have a name for this sort of writing. I call it prose verse. Prose verse sounds like normal speech. It's different though. In prose verse, each sound fits the rhythmic pattern. There are hidden rhymes. We're unaware of all these inner workings when we're listening. That's because the sentences express their meaning clearly. We imagine that we're hearing ordinary prose. We concentrate on what's being said, not on the technicalities, whereas pure verse, the sort we're used to, has a different emphasis, such that we're more aware of rhythmic patterns.
I think the prose verse gives the dialogue, well, it's a lovely new dimension. You're aware that the language is heightened, but you can't quite put your finger on how it works. I think it makes most people listen more carefully, and that helps me as a director because, well, I'd like the actors to communicate clearly. The more meaning the actors put into the words and the emotion behind the words, well, it's got to be more effective. For the audience, it certainly will be, because all those words are almost underlined and heightened by the verse. It's beautiful.
I love the way you focus on clarity of communication. I sometimes get carried away with the details that nobody sees, all the rhythms and the subtext and the literary and musical references. These are alive to me, and in the moment when I'm writing, they become the thing.
I think they make it up.
Dreadful. Just want to go to Madeline's.
Where? Where's that?
You're not local, are you? Everyone knows Madeline's.
Oh, I was. A long time ago when I was at the university.
Ah, a sort of Marcel Proust.
But one of the many things I like about you, and I really like this when we're working on this project together, is that all you're interested in is seeing this as an audience will see it. Knowing when something is not being communicated, knowing when a snag has occurred and ringing the bell so that we fix that.
Well, I'm increasingly aware that your hidden workings are the things that push this play so far above the ordinary. I am, as you say, primarily interested in clarity of communication. I think this is why we work so well together. You see, I think you have all the gifts of a writer. You're able to be so very, very clear about how one word will follow another. So you are the wordsmith. All I do is look at the visuals. Will the story be told by the actors? When we present it to the actors, can they pick it up and create the next stage of playmaking? That's what I'm interested in. Handing it over to the actors. The visuals, the words, blending them together. Actors take that and run with it.
I think I can surprise you, because when I did the analysis, I took all the verse apart. I discovered that many of the things I like most about the characters were actually written into the verse. And they were there even before the full story had been told. I want to show you that. Let's do another session on this.
Do you know, I'm almost speechless, which is unusual for me, but let me explain. I've been looking at this script for, some 3 years, and there are lots of things I've never noticed. And the more I hear about it, the more fascinated I become. So, let's go a bit deeper next time.